Kia ora everyone, what's up? This is Jolly, and we're just going to be going over a recent game from the Ragnarok tournament. I kind of just want to talk about common mistakes at low levels. I'm not sure at Atlantis' RR, but I think it's 1750 plus. And games like this really highlight the difference between those 1750 plus players and the expert players. And we're going to highlight some particular set mistakes, but also just general attitude toward a game where you're just giving your no, you're giving yourself no chance of actually winning the game to start with. So here we've got Atlantis versus Rayzen. Now this is Set versus Ra on Tundra. Um, to be honest, this is quite a tough matchup for Ra. Well, I mean, Set definitely has the advantage here. It is winnable for the Ra. But the Set player needs to really take it upon himself to control the game and really establish what his victory conditions are going to be. Now, on a map like Tundra, commonly your victory condition is going to be denial of that second gold mine. And I mean, we're gonna just chuck the fog of war off and look at this map really quickly. So we can see already that their gold mines are very scarce. Now, if Atlantis was to scout properly, he would realize that this gold mine is just absolutely nothing to Rayzen. He's got a forest which is absolute aids to him to get around and negotiate. The Migdal placement's going to be crappy. It's just not a nice gold mine. This would be a great gold mine to also control if you were very aggressive to put your Migdal on here because it does secure him a lot of food. But the only reason we'll gold mine to Rayzen is this side one. It's close to him, it's got a forest in front where it's easy to wall in a Migdal here and you can create kind of a choke point. But the whole idea with this is that Ra can never actually build his Migdal outside of his base. He has to build his first one inside the base. Therefore, this gold mine is secured by a direct push by the Ra. So, there's kind of two ways to secure gold in this game. There's either you play around a very specific power point in the game, where you invest everything into it and you make it quite obvious and you win through a very certain way, which is commonly done with Ra with Eclipse. Because it blocks god powers, you get a massive spike in your army power. And myth units are just really good units in Age of Mythology. So that's a very good way. The other way that people do this is this works quite well if you know you're versus a slightly lower skilled player, which is to completely confuse the issue and make the game not revolve around this gold mine at all. So if Rayzen was to, I mean it's kind of hard versus Set, but if he was to go for like a two-town center and like mass spears and sphinxes and run around the map like an idiot and make Atlantis just kind of shit the bed and have no idea what he's meant to be doing, you can and give the player too much to do and completely confuse him away from this issue, you can actually secure that gold mine by giving the other player other things to worry about, which is quite hard because with a kit like Set with the shift sands and the ancestors, it's quite easy to keep your direct approach going if you use those two god powers well. So this game we're probably going to look more at Atlantis, just because this is where the obvious mistakes come in. So basically Set can be deciding what the Ra player does and can counter the Ra player very easily. So we see this, well, I mean he's upping, I feel like he should be going for 430. He's doing one extra villager, just maybe he just goofed up his temple time, so it's not the end of the world to make an extra villager. But if he had played this correctly, he would be going for the extra, not the extra villager. So this is the first key point I want to talk about in this game. Alright, so Atlantis has not scouted. Like, this is just not scouting. You you've found your second gold mine, you've found some hunt, and you know what you got to do, but you have no idea about this Ra player. He knows this gold mine, he doesn't know this gold mine, and he doesn't know, often in Tundra you'll get a gold mine close to your second town center. He doesn't know any of that. He has no idea what this Ra player is doing. He's seen this granary, he might have seen if he got hunting dogs or not, but he just doesn't know anything. So right now he is blindly going into a situation. When you're the aggressive god in the matchup, you need to know this information. So this is his first really, really big mistake, which just leaves him ill-informed to do anything. So if he had scouted properly, he would know that he's going for a fast farm, and the fast farm is done for two reasons. It's used to block the shift sands, and it also gives you a very fast heroic time. Um, and and this can normally be done with, a mass myth unit, because you can get monuments up quite nicely. And Tundra is a really easy map to do the strat on, and I actually do quite like it. It does kind of neglect the fact that you can get hunting dogs, but if we look at Rayzen's map, and this is what he did quite nicely, he knows where his second gold mine is, he knows this town center doesn't really secure anything, and he's just going to go for this fast heroic, and he wants to block very direct power spikes from the set player, which is his shift sand and then the ancestors. So what the rain does is it blocks the shift sands, and then the eclipse is used to secure the gold mine. So that's what Rayzen's thinking. But he also knows that, and this is where good adaptation in game comes in, he also knows that if he does not need to secure this gold mine with eclipse, he has eclipse for something very, very aggressive, which is very key. But you can obviously see the massive disadvantages this Ra player has. He has no scouting. He has absolutely no idea what this set player is doing. Not a clue. And this is where the advantage of set comes in, because set can up 430 every game, and you have to play to the fact that set will be doing a sub 730 heroic with lots of aggression and denying your second gold mine. If you ignore that fact, if you gamble that he's going to boom or do something else, and he does, the 730, you will lose every time, because you have nothing to save yourself. But what set can do is he can play some massive mind games, whereas you're expecting the 730, so you have to play for it, but then you get to heroic and he's got 3 town centers, he's got 10 priests and 15 slingers, and your economy is just so far behind, and you can't even raid him or do anything, because he has the whole map, he has the vision of the map, and you're just completely outclassed in that way, and that can be quite tough too. So that's where the advantage set has. So this is what needs to be abused, especially in the set v Ra matchup, this complete lack of knowledge that the Ra player has. So we go to Atlantis, and this is his first big mistake from the no vision. So he's had the no vision, and he doesn't know what the Ra player is doing, and he's going for a second town center. You can tell this because he's putting all these villages to gold. Why? What town centers could he take? This one, what does it do? It gives him a piece of wood. This one secures nothing. The gold mine's kind of on the other side, so what's the point? This one, which is Rayzen's town center, once again, he hasn't scouted, he doesn't know there's a gold mine here or anything. I mean, it gives him a little bit of hunt. But what are the reasons behind taking this? So, if he does choose to take this town center, which isn't necessarily incorrect because Rayzen has no knowledge of it, and he has to expect the 730, he needs to take that town center, and he needs to... basically, if he takes this town center, he wants the Ra player to be booming. Because if the Ra player is booming, it's slowing down his transition to the second gold mine, which has to happen in some point of the game. So what that means is they kind of match each other in... I mean, Ra will be slightly ahead of economy, but they match each other in population, and he still gets the advantage with ancestors on the second gold mine. And he should have better scouting and any harass that he can perform. So that's okay, but he knows if he's taking the second town center, the the thing that can beat him. So this is what he needs to know. He needs to know that I'm taking the second town center. What can beat me by doing this? And the thing that can beat him by doing this is exactly what Rayzen does this game. And it's a very fast, aggressive heroic using the Eclipse. Because he knows the set player has taken this town center. But what he doesn't know is when he takes the town center is the army composition. So has Atlantis made army or has he not? So that's key. So what Atlantis needs to do is he needs to know that there is one thing that can counter me right now. I need to scout if he's doing that. If he is doing that, then I need to do this. If Rayzen wasn't going to push him and I don't know was like screwing around, then he can take this town center and go heroic and just have a simple population advantage through the lack of like Rayzen's activity. But he knows that, well, he should know what Rayzen's doing. So he takes this town center as we're going to see now. So we'll chuck it and play fast. And he's converting these Aurochs, and I mean, like, this is small stuff that he should be doing as scouting, and like, I don't want to go too in depth because, about the small stuff, because overall it's the general choice of strategy. So he sees the rain go down and he sends the Aurochs in. And, I mean, he had no idea where he wanted to send them. Even if Rayzen hadn't have rained, he might have not even been able to shift sand, because he never gave himself the chance to do that. So that comes down to the scouting. Because if he had scouted, he could have had one here, he could have sat one here, and he could have had one here, and he could just send them in from all directions and get an easy shift. But that's small stuff. So he's taking this town center, and he sees the rain going down now. So this is when he needs to say, okay, this guy is doing a fast heroic. Like, there's nothing else this guy will do right now. So he's going to take this town center, and he's not going to invest in army. And this is the big mistake. He doesn't know his victory condition right now. His victory condition is to have an army and to completely stop this push. If you just put like your barracks here in a wall and you have 5 or 6 priests with your pharaoh, like any myth unit push is just going to be completely negated. And so what happens is he basically is going to let Rayzen get heroic. And so right now he's thinking, I want to go heroic, but for no real reason. And you can already see the score difference here. I mean, Atlantis is at axis to hunt all game. He knows that Rayzen needs this gold mine, so he needs to actively do something to deny that. And basically he's just grabbed a town center for no reason. He hasn't thought about why he's taken it. He hasn't thought about, because taking town centers is one of the biggest mistakes people do in this game, is they take it and don't back it up, or they don't know why they're taking it, and it sets them back from any objective. And this is what's happened this game. And so we check Rayzen. He's run up here and he's seen there's absolutely no defense on this. So all he has to do is just hit Eclipse, blocks every god power, and he pretty much wins the game right there. Absolutely nothing set can do. Everything was completely countered by just one god power, because he was never forced into trying to secure a gold mine, because the set player let him. Anyway, that's pretty much the game. I hope this was somewhat fluid. This was just completely, like, I only watched this game once before and play fast, and I just kind of threw this together now. I hope that gives a little bit of insight into why players should start thinking about why they are doing things, what their victory condition is, and by performing this, what safety barrier do I need to put on myself. My honest recommendation for set here would have just been to, up 430, have better scouting, and just have animals priests sit on this gold mine and just never let him get it. Make him eclipse to push out for it. Um, have a wall just run through it, whatever. He should never get that gold mine. And especially with the shift sand advantage. If he eclipse and you just run away. Even you can out micro the eclipse depending on how many units he has. And then you just come back with ancestors and shift half his army away and you win. Alright, thanks for watching that, guys. Cheers.